What's going on, y'all? Another week, another geek. We're back at it again with another episode of the Why I'm Geek show with your homies AJ and Chrissy Light. A little bit of cotton mouth. Boy just came from 5K. Now I didn't run no 5K, but I did 3 miles though, at least. But Chris, how you feeling today, Brody?
Sleepy, man. Sleepy, and I gotta wake up at 4 tomorrow. Man, the start of the week is rough, but can't miss a pod, and we got a good one today. So
yes, sir.
I know you, like you said, you doing the One Punch Man challenge out there nowadays. But how you feeling, G?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Had a late start today, but we here. You know what I'm saying? Another day, another dollar. But yeah, super excited to get into this episode. Today we're gonna be talking Shōgun. We haven't talked about it since the third episode. And it's officially first season done. First season is cooked. And I'm super excited to get into it. First question, bro. Did it live up to the hype? I'm just gonna go straight and ask you, did it live up to the hype? Then we get to nitty gritty.
I'm gonna play the fence. I'm gonna say it did, but I think me and you had the same opinion. Can't entirely remember. I think it definitely proved it wasn't quite Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
but I deep down don't think it was trying to be towards the end. It was just trying to be its own unique story, and while it did have shocking things that reminded me of Game of Thrones or end of episode twists, I think it ended up ultimately living up to the hype as one of Hulu's best shows. And you said something that I'm not sure you're aware of.
What's that?
There is no season 2.
Nah, it has not been announced yet. No.
I don't think it's getting a season 2.
I think it could.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, based on the way it ended.
Because it's based off of a book and a series that came out a long time ago. So they were saying early on that it was going to be like a single mini, what do they call them? Mini series or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So if they do a season 2, that would be very interesting. But I thought early on they announced already that this was going to be its only iteration of it. But we'll triple check after the pod.
I mean, that makes sense though. That makes sense just because of as I was watching it, I was trying to follow the lines of I was watching the show, but it was just Game of Thrones was always in the back of my mind. And I was like, man, Young's really going out sad already.
Yeah.
So
that's why I was kind of let me just go ahead and talk about this now, because I don't want to spring it on you halfway through the pod or whatever. Yeah. But definitely leaving from episode 9 to episode 10, you could sort of see a lot of storylines conclude in a way that if they try to rope them back together, it kind of becomes a why.
Yeah.
Even what's his name? John Blackthorne's I want to say mistress, but
his consort.
She goes off and becomes a nun. It's if we did do a second season, there's just no reason to bring back that character at that point, But I think they definitely had the spark that made everyone so intrigued with Game of Thrones. But it's its own thing, and I do think it's definitely worth the watch. And they did a great job with the series.
Yeah, I think it definitely lives up to the hype of just it being a really good show, and probably if not the best, one of the best to release this year already, and the foreseeable future for the rest of the year. It was highly anticipated, all-star cast, and I've just seen a lot of good things about it online, from just Lady Margot character, And even like just when I think about each episode, it was like a movie. So it had that feeling of like, yo, this gives me Game of Thrones vibes as far as like this is going to be a long drawn out process.
Long, deep
But
episodes, a lot of narration and
mhm,
things getting woven into an episode.
yeah, a whole bunch of world building and stuff like that. And uh even though it has not been announced, there's still room for a season 2 for them to keep going, because it's like even if it was based off a book, it wouldn't be the first time that they, brought something back because of high demand. Um and only reason why I say that is because the way the last episode really panned out, they kind of just, you know, they closed out all of the different storylines in a way, and even show glimpses of like what the future would look like. But what I learned about this show is like you can't take everything at face value. So like that could have been, the future we saw, or just an interpretation of like what it could really look like um if everything goes to plan, essentially. Because as far as timelines go, like 45 days could go by just like that, you know, and it could be next season or whatever. And then, um, you know, for John Blackthorne to, rebuild his ship, that's one thing to go on. Then his relationship with um Lady Marco's husband, that now that, they both lost somebody they both care about, maybe they become quote unquote brothers at this point, something like that. Like there's still plenty of story that they could tell, but if it was just the end right here, I feel like they, wrapped it up in a nice little bow. Now, did it get slow towards the end? I think so, but it was just worth it to, kind of make it through these 8 episodes. Um, but that's covering the finale, bruh. I kind of want to just talk about like the gore, bruh. Because when I think about a show like this, I wasn't expecting, like, after the explosion of the cannons that uh Lord Tanada's son, what's his name? Uh can't think of his name. But
Man's went out.
yeah, but essentially he took it upon himself to make a move and blew some youngins up, and it was very bloody, it was very gory. But as the series went along, it got less and less so. Like, there was moments where it was like you would see violence, but it was just at the same time very tame, which is a narrative that I feel like really goes with how just Shogun really is as a whole, where like, the whole motto was like, we live and we die. They don't make too big of a fuss about it. And I feel like that showed out through the script and through how they presented things. So like what did you think about just like how they went about some of those scenes and stuff throughout the series now that we finished it up?
I mean, they really do be taking death like so quick. Like people are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to figure out what we're gonna do. And even like Mariko, uh, even when she passed away, it was just like, dang, we losing everyone.
That
I
was the
mean,
one.
technically, she lost her whole guard before
Yeah.
bef- an episode before she died.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they raided the whole place on episode 9, tons of more people died. Like they be running out of troops for real.
Yeah.
Like and it's refreshing just because it's not necessarily like Game of Thrones where like um boom, this major character is dying. It's just how easily someone to your left or right could be like
Gone.
slain.
Yeah.
Like they don't really be having no armor because they're not like fully ready like a samurai, you know. They're in robes, so they got their weapons ready and stuff, but it'd be taking a second. It'd be one swipe and
Yeah.
like you said, you're gone.
One wrong statement. They can ask
Yeah.
you to commit
A
some
whole
senkaku.
shinobi group come out of nowhere. Like
Yeah. Like you stand up for your mans and now you gotta, end your whole line. Like
yeah.
it's very
I mean, even that, like I said, they have to end their line based on pretty much their morals and their code. And like, this is so dishonorable. I could not fulfill my lord's wishes. I will commit suicide in noon tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, oh, we can't let her commit suicide. The whole nation will know about this and look down upon. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because even
It
when
just
they
shows how
spoke about
important death is.
yeah, even when they spoke about sacrifice and having a good death and like, being honored to do something for somebody like that, like it gives off a very different vibe than what, a Game of Thrones would when a major character dies or a major moment happens, because in that moment it's like you going off on like a high, but in this one it's
Yeah.
just like slow, like it's like
Like
indica and
there's more
sativa, like
meaning. Yeah. Like deep
like
emotions when they're dying.
yeah, like one is way more chill and the other one is like way more energy, you
Like
know.
Mariko couldn't even die because she was Christian, so she couldn't kill herself. She needed
Hmm.
someone else to kill her,
Yeah.
technically. And like other people understood the difference between like Japanese culture
Hmm.
of pretty much taking your life and then her new religion blending with that. So it's
Hmm.
like, oh no, oh she can't fully do that. Like
Catholicism.
so then it makes it really emotional, you know.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones just be like, off with your head,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Right. It's
it's
a
like a
whole different
wild,
vibe, bro.
yeah,
It's a whole different thing. And there's so many rules and so many regulations where like the council was probably the most frustrating part of the show, just because you would think that plans would go one way going into these meetings and stuff like that, but then once you get to the meeting it's like, oh, stalemate. Now they have a certain amount of days to come up with another plan. So really, like uh this whole series is just them buying time, essentially, to kind of make the perfect sacrifice, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Um, but even still, like for me, it doesn't feel like it's over. Like even though we saw like what the plan was going to be with the heir's mother align herself with Toranaga, and her growing tired of the council and their ways and just trying to protect her son, and her the way she would like flip flop from being super cold to being like, when she turned her back now she crying, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many elements to how they gotta kind of move, whereas like John Blackthorne is just, he's adopted a lot of the ways, but not to his core, where like he knows enough to kind of navigate, but at the same time he grows frustrated with the culture and their ways of handling things, because like any one thing could set everything off, you know. And it's a crazy thing to watch. So next thing that I wanted to talk about was just, what was your favorite I guess twist, but like storyline, plot line, as far as like something you weren't expecting to kind of happen in the show?
Well, I mean, the only thing I can really think of was just John Blackthorne about to commit senpaku on himself
Mm,
to save the village, just because it was just a Toranaga messing with him to really see where his like loyalties lie before
mm,
technically they conclude the show, to really see if he was with Toranaga, because the whole time, John wants to go back home, and we have a little glimpse in the last episode of his life as an old John Blackthorne, potentially, if he just leaves.
that was concussion talking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it just really goes to show how far he's come along in Japan. And Toranaga was just messing with him because it was his people who burnt down his ship or sunk his
Hmm.
ship or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was gonna, put it on the village and murder everybody. And uh, John was like, "No, don't do that. I'm gonna kill myself uh, instead. Let them be pretty much like live."
Hmm.
And Toranaga just really understood that part. And there is another part, but it wasn't really shocking. I just thought his end was gonna be way different.
Hmm.
And they went with like a more poetic way, which was uh what was that guy's name who he chopped off
The
his
last
head?
guy.
Yeah,
Ah, the
pretty much the
uncle.
traitor who helped the
Yeah.
council with all the shinobi entering and killing Mariko in
Hmm.
the process. Um, that whole part of him not telling him, showing him the future of how he's gonna become shogun,
Yeah.
uh, and then him pretty much asking like, "Was this your plan the entire time?" And it was kind of like, "Why would I tell a dead man the
Hmm.
future?" And he kind
Yeah.
of like accepts it.
Hmm.
I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to rewatch earlier episodes because he probably mentioned something like that to him before."
Yeah.
Um, but that like I just thought that was just so hard, and like I said, I didn't think it was unexpected, but
Yeah.
I was just like, dang, that's how he goes out. He goes out with him pretty much laying out the plan.
Hmm.
But then after that, he's like I'm gonna let you know what you were involved in,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna go on to the
You're gonna
next
have to
life.
just hold that.
Yeah, yeah. I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've had to have seen something like that before, but I was
Hmm.
like how you're feeling. Like, just I gave you that portion of the story.
Yeah.
Hey, go look out into that water.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
so
His name was Yabushigi.
yeah,
Yabushigi.
Mushigi. Okay,
Yeah.
because that man was
Uh,
was kind of slimy the whole time.
yeah.
Like you could see different parts where it's like, now he's trying to escape. Now he's trying to. So
He was just
I
trying to
felt like
live.
his character arc made sense, but
Yeah.
that end, like I said, maybe it's shocking enough, but
Hmm.
maybe it's not shocking enough. But I was like, damn, that's how they do him. Okay.
Yeah. That was gonna be mine. That was gonna be
Okay.
mine. Just because um it did not just involve him. It started with uh his with Toranaga's, second or um what was his name? What was his name?
Oh, the guy
The
with
guy
the
who
haircut.
yeah, the guy who was his like right hand man essentially, um, committing senpaku because of like
Oh,
an
his OG
outburst.
one.
Yeah, his OG youngin. And he was like, if he don't like because from that moment it was like, all right, now, Yabushige gonna think I'm crazy because I just let my right hand man die, and he's gonna go to Osaka and basically betray me on purpose because I know his character. Um, and once he does that, then that sets up Mariko to be able to essentially, you know, say she's gonna commit senpaku initially, just because Ari she wanted to get all of the royals out of there, um, royal
Yeah, just
families
just
out of
show
there,
that they're actually holding her up, and
they're
they
prisoners in Osaka.
yeah.
Like, because before it was just like, nah, this is the safest place, so we're gonna keep all y'all here. But when she goes there, just because of her high status, and now she wants to leave, and now like it was like, nah, you need a permit. So it's like, nah, I should be able to just leave when I want to, you know, because that's the way it works. My lord is Toranaga. Y'all don't have no authority over me, right? Unless I'm a prisoner, you know. And she did that in front of everybody, so then that, you know, will bleed deceit, and as far as like, yo, maybe we're not safe with the these regents, and you know, maybe we need to find, you know, align with a different council, or you know, just align under one person or whatever. And that was where you start to see the cracks in there. And then once she does that, then what's his name? Keep forgetting his name. His name is Yabushigi. Says, oh, okay, let me make this deal with you because I want to save my skin. You know, we can let these youngins in, do what they gotta do, get rid of Lady Mariko, say it was assassins, and call it a day. And now, bro was left with nothing. Everything goes back to normal, but she didn't get killed by assassins. Now there's witnesses, you know, to the whole thing. And now, not only did she get the permit to leave, but that allowed everybody else to leave later on, you know. And then from there, bro was forced to go back. And it's just like, man, he reveals his plan. Like, yo, I knew what you was going to do. You know, like, that's what it felt like. Because it's like, I know you. I'm way smarter than you, bro. Like, that's the energy it was given. But it was so calm. And it was so, like, I could lay it all out for you. But, you know, there's no point because you're not going to be here to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I was like, oh, yeah, that was my favorite part, too. Because I was just so shocked when bro was like, yo, I'm literally about to go out sad right now. His right hand man, like, he's going to madness. Not only is he Toranaga sick, but now, like, he's just giving up, you know, and he's just gonna go like that when they could fight. But
yeah,
I
because
don't know.
he was pretty much crying and crazy
Mm-hmm.
after Mariko died, realizing what he's done.
No, it was after his son died, because his son attacked his brother in the bathhouse or whatever, or not the bathhouse, but the
Are
brothel,
you talking
essentially.
Toranaga?
Yeah,
I'm talking
Toranaga's.
about the other guy. Remember at the last episode, he's like senile and stuff. He was playing in the pond, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
was regretting Mariko's death.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he knew it was his fault. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was super guilty. Yeah, yeah,
And even when it was at the feet of Toranaga, it was kind of like
yeah.
a mix up of episode 1 when
Mm-hmm.
John Blackthorne was at the feet of Toranaga, and he was like, "Oh, just kill him!" Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a lot that goes into the show that makes it great. But as far as like it being on to the level of Game of Thrones, I think it's an unfair comparison just because of the amount of content. You know, now if they do decide to just keep on going with it, you know, like, that'd be great. But, you know, it'd be a lot to try to reestablish some new characters that we ain't never seen before. So I get it if they just leave it off, because it's good. You know, it's good, bro. And then like when dude was like, you know, you could still do Operation Crimson Sky. Tornado was like, that already happened. We did that. You know, because even when dude let all the assassins in, I thought that was Tornaga's people, but it wasn't. So it was just like, the more you know. It's like when just when you think you can, like, you got it all figured out, it's just like they threw another wrench in there with either somebody has to die immediately, or, you know, they get another 45 days to grieve for something. Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. What else? I guess it's just like it was a slow burn, but like it never really caught on fire for me like I thought it would. But it's like it had its moments, and then maybe it's just because a lot of it's in Japanese and there's a lot of reading to it. It don't hit as hard, but it's like they're also just having normal conversations, you know? And there's no dragons. So, like, to compare it to Game of Thrones at this point, it's just like, nah, we don't need to do that, bro. It could just be its own category of like, oh, this was dope. But that's really all I got as far as a take on it, unless we just get more into specifics.
I mean, me personally, I think I probably would have preferred if episode 9 they added like another 30 minutes to it, because episode 10 for me just felt like more of like an epilogue of a book.
Yeah.
Like you're wrapping up everything. It's not necessarily as what's the decision is gonna be like. Episode 9 really does feel like the final chapter.
Yeah.
And while we get the conclusions in episode 10, like the theme was much more somber tone the entire time. I was just trying to understand, like, okay, where are we at right now if this is the last episode? Because,
Yeah.
like we've seen the visions of the army, so I was expecting a battle, but it was more of like the future vision. So, yeah, it just felt like an epilogue episode where I think they probably could have made the last episode really long, and it would have felt really good where we got a big action scene in the middle, and then it slowly turned down and ride off into the sunset type thing. That's probably my only like gripe with it.
Yeah.
I would definitely wouldn't give episode 10 like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's probably like a 9 for me. But I do think they did a good job of wrapping up everyone's storylines and explaining everyone's reasoning for what happened and what's going to happen. And yeah, the show looks really good. It's a very good looking show on Hulu. I'm really glad they made it. Really glad it happened on Hulu, because now Hulu's really stepping up their game on series. You know me.
You just been sleeping.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, you know me. I definitely felt like this thing could have been on HBO. But yeah, I think Toranaga's plan was very, very impossible to come to fruition.
Yeah.
Fruition. But it was very interesting to see how it unfolded, and essentially him becoming Shogun.
But he didn't though.
I mean, he does.
Like he didn't.
Like he does.
He does, but he didn't though.
Yeah.
Like he became it all in just name, but he still ain't do it yet. So how do you feel about that?
But
like you care that it didn't happen?
Like
or we
in
just
the
saw
show,
it in
no,
the vision.
no.
Like, yeah.
Because it really shows how smart he was the whole time, getting these puzzle pieces into places that would pretty much turn the heart of the person who's really in power, which was the kid's mom. Like, if pretty much, even though the regents are controlling everything, he kind of understood the game that really needed to be played, and it's whoever his side is on is the side like everyone's gonna follow. And they was not on his side at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But Mariko was on their side and had a whole history with them. So Toranaga's plan, it took a long, long time, and it was really hard to even follow how he was gonna pull the spin off and survive. But once explained, I thought it was pretty genius. Just
yeah,
dang, like even John Blackthorne couldn't see like what he was doing, what he was plotting, what he was trying to do, and the amount of people he sacrificed to fulfill it. It kind of did make you wonder when the guy asked him like, "Oh, so you're just like us? You wanted to be Shogun too?" and then he's shoo. So
Yeah.
it's just like this man
Don't matter.
Toranaga is
Don't
yeah,
matter.
this man Toranaga ain't gonna let nobody know. Like
Yeah. I just wish we could have saw it, bro. Like, for as much as we saw of like not only just the process for all this to come together, but also seeing his past and like him being praised for winning his first battle, and like, you know, showing him in a light where it's like, yo, like his legend, you know, speaks for itself. But when you really hear the real version of the story that he shares with his right hand, it's more so like, it's more so less glamorous of a story, you know? Like, whereas like in the story, it only took one swing for him to cut dude's head off, but in reality, it took like 10 essentially. So yeah, I just wish it could have been more like that. I feel like the only thing that was really missing from it was a real arc for Mariko's husband. Just because I felt like there was real potential for some action scenes from him outside of like seeing like what he went through just to get back to, you know, maybe see him going rogue or something like that. Like when I think about other shows, and like even when I just think of like Ghost of Tsushima, right? Which is an excellent freaking story. The story of Shogun needed a little bit more action. Like a lot of stuff happened, and like there's definitely action in it, but it's a lot of the same thing. You know, like every time there's some violence, every time there's an attack, it's a surprise attack when they're sleeping. You know, so but in the moment, granted, it's like, whoa, what the heck is going on? Oh my gosh, like I can't believe this is happening. Or like when Mariko had her last stand, as far as like, obviously I can't beat 10 people right here, but I gotta show that, you know, I'm not going out sad essentially until I am. I'm just like, bro, they're just missing that one little portion where they could have really turned things up, but that just does not seem like that was a story that they was really trying to tell. It really just seems like it was just a real political game.
Yep.
You know, from the highest order to just the, you know, the church to a lowly pirate named John. Like everybody was playing the game and trying to use each other, but it was like nobody could really admit it. And I'm just like, bruh, this is good. This is good, but is it the best? I don't know. Maybe I just got to marinate on it more. You know, like I just finished the last episode today. I kind of spaced it out, but for one thing I know is it was good. But it was like you were saying, like that last episode was just like, all right. I mean, this girl already died, so what are we doing now? Like, the voice of the show died, you know. So I don't know. It's a good show, bro. Go watch it.
It's just like looking back, I don't think like a big battle would have actually helped it or anything. And like
not a big battle. No.
But even a battle, like I think overall, like you're saying, when you look back on the show, the gore and the violence and the anything battle like was of smaller scale. Like even when they fought in the forest and arrows were flying, it was always of smaller scale.
Very tactical.
So it's like, yeah, and once Toranaga kind of reveals his plan, you realize like all of this military maneuvering and placing Mariko in the perfect position to pretty much put the regents in a stalemate. His son dying, buying them a little bit more time so he can really cook up this plan.
Yeah.
To really get the Taiko's mom on their side. Um, like it is more of a political game of how Toranaga becomes shogun via outmaneuvering his opponents, not on the battlefield.
And not showing his hand too early.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and it would have been cool. Like it definitely would have been cool to see a little battle, but like it's kind of like Toranaga kind of explained that his army was not big enough to fight in the battle anyway.
At this juncture.
Yeah. Like
outright. Like we couldn't see
once
it
his brother
in this
turned
season.
on him, he wasn't gonna have an army big enough, and then he lost more army in a landslide. So the whole time you're sort of sitting there saying like, "Yo, what is this plan? Like I don't understand." Yeah.
Yep.
And essentially at the end of it, John ain't leaving Japan. He's gonna live his whole life there. He's gonna build Toranaga's naval army and prepare for a future war.
Yep.
Because they gotta learn how to build them big ships. They gotta learn how to use them cannons.
Yeah. I mean, once bro saw his crew, he was just like, I can't go back to this.
Yeah.
You know, like he had a real moment, and I feel bad for him, bro. I was like, dang. I was like, because it was only like 6 of them left anyway. Like it wasn't a lot of them. And for just having that one interaction, it was like, yo, y'all are not making it back to England, bro. Like if you really try to set sail with these youngins, you're not gonna make it.
And he already felt like a different character by then.
Exactly.
But then again, he was still chasing Mariko, so I mean, this is a little. I don't know how he was feeling now at the end, but
yeah. How you feel about Mariko and John and that whole triangle, bro?
I mean, I thought they were a key driver in the story overall. Like, deep down, do I think Toranaga knew what was happening? I mean, of course. I low key feel like he was plotting a little bit anyway to make it a little bit more spicier. But it was a good triangle. Man, I probably have to rewatch to see
at Tea Party.
what was the Toranaga's like real vision when he saw him, you know?
I mean, from what he was saying,
to me, go ahead.
Well, like from what he was saying, it was just like he's another asset to like use essentially, because for him it's like it doesn't really matter what John does. Like if he can help, great, but I'm gonna use him as a distraction for my enemies essentially, because they're more worried about him than they really should be.
That's what it felt like.
And like for him to prop him up to Hamato, right, was like a slap in the face.
It was so confusing and so
they couldn't figure it out,
Yeah.
So like I really think it was just more so like not necessarily like a Trojan horse, because Mariko was more the Trojan horse.
Exactly.
Just
it's like he had Mariko already in that plan, and then John comes in, and as much as we feel he's a main character, like Toranaga realizes like, dang, I can really distract these fools. Like he's a different religion, that'll get them confused. He has these cannons, these new weapons. He's learning the language. They want to execute him before they execute me. Like, so it's just, he just seemed like such a main character when in reality, it's like Mariko and Toranaga are really the main characters. The whole time. So the love triangle was cool, but it's just like I ended up feeling like this is actually just Toranaga. Like, yo, let me spice up this plot a little more.
I think it was like inevitable, especially like when everybody thought that Mariko's husband was dead. Like he was just like, I mean, I'm not saying this is what you got to do, but you know, you're the only one that can really talk to him. So, like, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Like, grief it strikes people in different ways. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Torinaga, bruh. It was just like, you know, I'm glad I had more sons. Like, like that's savage, bruh. But I think as far as like respect goes, it's just like I think Mariko really dragged it, bruh. Like she was mad, but she was more so mad at the situation she was put in than mad at John. Just because it's like in their culture, they're property essentially, and they are to be done with however the husband sees fit. And Samurai dude went crazy on her, bruh. And it was just like from that moment on, it was just like, bruh, you're done. Like you're cooked. You know, like she already didn't like you, bruh. Like now
It's
you
like
done did that.
she was in a position where Toranaga's plan she was with. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
And it forced her to
I
do
am
that.
free to be used by Toranaga to help further his plan because I'm trapped in this crazy life anyway.
Yeah.
And I was gonna end this life a long time ago, but even now my beliefs I can't do that. So however Toranaga sees fit with me, then I'm gonna do.
Cause she was a runner, bruh. She stayed running away.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And even
So
sometimes when on those last couple of episodes, you wonder if Toranaga actually told her the plan, which I don't think he did, but he knew her and knew what would happen.
yeah. But
That's the whole reason why she ended up being there in the first place, saying like, "I ain't no prisoner, right? True. All right, we gonna peace out here. Don't try to stop me." And they're like, "No, we're gonna try to stop you." And it's like, "Wait, I'm confused. I'm not a prisoner." Like
yeah.
a whole situation. Like you're literally proving Toranaga's point, and probably she realized that too. Like, okay, well, I guess I have to kill myself, and that's what he
Yeah.
wants. Like,
Cause she asked to do it multiple times throughout the series.
exactly.
So she been wanting to die, but it was just like, nah, you're gonna have to die like this.
Exactly. And it's like I have to put you
That's
in this
crazy.
position.
That's
and
crazy, bro.
and knowing that it's gonna trigger the mother
Yeah.
because she
Cause
don't
that was
want to
her
lose
man's.
Marco. Yeah,
Cause like
she don't
even when
want to
she
lose
pulled
Marco
up,
again.
I was like, girl, what you doing here, bro? Like when she pulled up on the everybody was looking at Mariko fight everybody, and she pulled up, had her hood on her head so nobody knows she was there. I was like, bro, what are you doing there, bro? Like it's your fault.
But that's what Toranaga knew. I know
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. Once he got out of there, I was like, whoa, yeah, things just turned up because these could have definitely went south if they caught him in that little taxi jump. But okay. Rating, what you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna give Shogun a 9. Really enjoyed it. Really, I mean, in my opinion, I was disappointed from the end, but it's
Yeah.
just the way it ends. I just think instead of doing a last full hour episode, just merge it with the much better episode 9 and have it ride off to the sunset, kind of like I said. I think I then would have enjoyed the ending way more, but overall, I think it's a 9. I think they have some banger episodes in here. I think it's unique. I think finally we get a political drama that we've been looking for since Game of Thrones, and it's been 6 years,
Yeah, at least 5.
at least 5. So it just feels about right. It looks great, and I think they just did a stellar job bringing this to life, and it's definitely worth the watch.
Yeah, 100% agree. I give it a 9 out of 10 as well. Um, it's it's hard to give it anything less or anything higher just because when I look at like when I think about like what the show actually did and not necessarily like what I think should have happened or like what it could have been or like um what it's like compared to other things I've seen. Well, I look at the bare bones of Shogun from start to finish. It's just solid, like it's solid freaking commentary, bro. You know, they have the one-liners, they have the epic twists and turns, they have everything that you want in a really good show. It's just the structure or the limits of the culture as far as like what you would want to happen in a situation or what you would expect to happen in a situation always gets like turned on its head, because it's like, yo, it's as simple as this: we live and we die. And that is the crux of like how they live in their society. And you just got to hold that. Like, as much as I want this character to flip the table and go crazy on somebody for saying something out of pocket, or like this person knows exactly what this person is trying to do, but can't really say anything because it would go against how the rules are set as far as like what they can say and what they can't say. From the translations of John to anybody, and what Mariko chooses to say and what she doesn't, to like just the overall progress we get to see from these characters from start to finish, and who makes it and who doesn't. It's just it's a full on freaking like success, bro. And yeah, I don't really got too many complaints. Like, it might have sounded like I was complaining before, but it was just like where my brain was at as far as like what I thought was gonna happen. That doesn't necessarily make, because it didn't happen, a bad thing. It's just like where my brain was headed, So I think it's fire, bro. I would like to see a separate season, or maybe a movie or something like that, a special where we get to actually see Toranaga become Shogun, or if he becomes Shogun, to pass it to the heir, whatever, to see if he follows through on that whole promise or whatever, and keeping the heir safe.
And I definitely think early on in this show, one could get confused on what type of show it is because of just the title Shogun. Yeah. Like, you do think there's going to be a battle of houses between Toranaga and all these regions, and then somehow they're going to overthrow the government of Japan, and potentially steal it from the current ruler that's too young to overtake. Like, it does set up originally like that.
Yeah.
Only for it to be more of a political drama. So it's kind of like, okay, once I see it, and once you see everything, you're like, you know what? I understand a lot of decisions. I get it.
Yeah.
Because Game of Thrones, really, it is like that at first, and then they get to like the places mobilizing and orchestrating, rallying for an army, and then it's like, oh, we stopped your army here, and then it's like, okay, now we're doing it again. So it's just like, definitely Shogun. It felt that way, and I understand everyone comparing it to Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
but it never really evolves past that to be like a full on, we are all going to war yet. Because the entire time, essentially, they're just trying to get Toranaga to Osaka and get this man. Like,
yeah. If I would describe it as like Game of Thrones is all about how how they break the rules, essentially.
Yeah.
And Shogun is about how do you win despite the rules being in place.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because his son dying gives him like an extra month, and in his mind he's sad, but he's like,
yeah,
I can't squander this extra month. I need this time because stuff ain't moving it right.
How do I get these families to freaking see what I see, as far as like these youngest is corrupt? You know,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
how do I
Like,
get them to see the freaking churches out here just trying to get money for real, like in establishing in establishing, like when they pulled out the whole Spain versus England card, and it's like, yo, you think that they're here on a mission or whatever? Nah, they're trying to freaking corrupt y'all from the inside. I was like, oh, okay,
exactly.
they getting to it, like, you know. And even though, like, you know, the priests and stuff had their moments throughout this series, and they had try to have their, you know, whatever that dude's name was with the beard, try to have his moment when John, as far as like, yeah, I loved Noriko too, you know, but like I gave her the whatever the thing is, so she good, but you know.
Yeah, and he pretty much got John out of there.
Yeah, he's like, I held up my end of the bargain, bro. Be safe with it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because they were gonna murder him in the woods as he left the Osaka too, and it's just a lot of stuff that you see, but it's just a different feeling if you go into it initially thinking this is Japanese Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah. So let us know what y'all think in the comment section below. Don't know what we're gonna watch next. Yes,
I don't know, we might have to be on the movie trend, bro. We might have to be on the movie trend and then catch up on all these movies and get ready.
Because
we got a summer of movies coming out, so that's the exciting part.
Yeah, and they're starting to drop. So yeah, but let us know in the comments what y'all watching, what y'all thought about Shogun, and yeah, what you geeked about, Chris? What's up? Talk to me.
Man, geeked. Oof. Man, so the NFL draft just ended.
Yeah, you got your quarterback.
We got the quarterback. We on our way to stomping the Cowboys. You know.
Oh my gosh, give him an inch. They take a mile, bruh. Golly.
But man, like I'm gonna just say I'm not too geeked about anything this week. This is probably just gonna be a catch up week. Maybe watch some One Piece. Finish up some Korra, Legend of Korra.
Double back.
Yep, double back on that. But in 2 weeks, I believe it's in 2 weeks, is the NBA lottery.
Okay.
And my team is so bad that they have a high chance to win the lottery. So last year was really exciting. It didn't work in my team's favor. So this year, let's get some luck. So I'll probably be spending the next 2 weeks, really hampering down on what player my team's going to be selecting, and while watching some NBA playoffs and getting into that, because it's about time to start deep diving with these narratives. And even as we record this right now, LeBron is playing the game of his legacy right now. So
you think it's the game of his legacy?
Well, if he wins this one, people are going to start hyping him up all over again. Exactly. So it's just like, I've seen this 1,000 times, and
yeah, it's just basketball though, Chris. That's what he said. It's just basketball.
I know that's hilarious. He said that, and watch him win today, and just be like, we're just locked in, and I've always had doubters my whole life. Like, he's gonna say something smart like that, and I'm gonna be like,
I just told my guys. I just told them, it's like, yo, we here. Like,
it's hard to it's hard to get everyone locked in, but when you're locked in and I'm leading them,
he's gonna say some cap, bro.
Exactly. So I'm thinking the Lakers do win tonight, but it's just kind of like, I'm not taking them this series, and these narratives, bro. You know how the media works, so it's gonna be rough. So I'm with me diving into all that NBA media leading up to the finals, because it's a special moment when the finals start. But what you geeked about, G? Something good this week?
Challengers. I saw Challengers this weekend. Yeah.
You saw it?
I saw it.
Oh.
I ain't gonna say too much.
Spicy.
I ain't gonna say too much. It's the freakiest movie I ever seen in theaters, bro. That show is freaked out. I ain't gonna cap. Like,
Oh man,
I was
oh man.
not
Hey,
expecting
look out
that,
for that
bro.
review, everybody. Look out for the review. I'm hyped for it.
But it's a good movie though. Like, it's still a good movie. A little too much for me. A little too much for me. But
Man saw it on Extreme.
bruh, I'm saying, like, what are we doing? Like, you think it's gonna be one thing, like, and it's been so long since I watched the trailer that I was just like, bro, I was like, yo, I forgot that it was gonna be like this. Like, I really thought, like, I knew it was gonna be like a love triangle thing, right? But they like emphasis on the love, like, and even though it's like a
So Tom
romance,
Holland calling up
bro.
Zendaya like, hey, we gotta talk.
Hey,
That's funny.
bruh. But it's as much as it is that type of movie, as much as it is a sports movie. I mean, a romance movie is just as much as a sports movie. Like, definitely, I never thought I could see tennis like this. Like, a little bit too much slow mo, but like the way that they show the game, it shows that, like, they really did a deep dive as far as how the game really goes. And yeah, they dragged it. That's all I'm gonna say. They dragged it, bro. Like, but it was good though. I'm excited for Zendaya because it's like her first real bout in movies as being like the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to see this movie because it's Zendaya. Like, I had in the theater.
And you smiling cheek to cheek,
bro. Nah, bro. She the one, bro. I'm just saying, like, yo, they have some really good cinematography in this film. I'm gonna say that, some really good angles, and like,
all right.
it was like picture perfect. Like, when I say that, because I'm like, yo, how did y'all do this? How did y'all think to make the movie like this aesthetically pleasing? And it was a whole bunch of, like, in the theater, it was a whole bunch of, you better go off in there. Like, it was a whole bunch of that. I was geek, bro. But as much as that, I was just like, bro, what am I watching? Like, So, I mean, which shouldn't be a surprise.
Review soon, y'all.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise. She's star Euphoria, bro. Euphoria freaked out too. So, I mean, it is what it is, bro. But in the movie world, it's art. You know what I'm saying? But to each their own, bro. I don't know. But yeah, that joint was freaking crazy. Like, it was wild. But what else? I've been watching Dragon Ball, like the Dragon Ball movies again. Just because it's been a little while. All of them are on Crunchyroll right now. So the next one I watched them out of order for some reason. Next one I got is Super Dragon Ball Superhero, the newest one that came out, because I watched it in theaters.
That was real new.
Yeah, it was like maybe last year, maybe the year before. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it was like 2 years.
When it came out, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it looks like this. Like, it looks really good, but I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it did what it had to do. But I wanted to watch it again just because it's been a little while so I can rank them. And what else? I think that's really it. I mean, I don't really have no dog in the playoffs. Sad to see KD go out sad again, getting swept once again. But he showed up. Nobody else showed up. What else? Cowboys. They just did the Cowboys. I mean, yeah.
He back.
$3 million, bro.
He back
for 1 year. 1 year, bro.
Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah, he back.
Get your bread. Anything else, bro? I gotta start looking at these dates too. A Mufasa trailer came out. Did you watch
Ooh, I
that?
gotta watch that.
I didn't watch it yet either, but I seen that it came out, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy! I need to go see that." I forgot that was gonna happen, but it's live action too, so
Yep.
And it's something that has not been made before. Like it's a new story, so that should be fun. But outside of that, I'm just I went running today again, trying to get my legs back under me. And Civil War review was out. So if you haven't seen Civil War or you try to figure out if you want to go see it, go check that out. But that's gonna do it for us this week, man. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. If y'all did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. And if you're on your favorite audio platforms, rate the podcast 5 stars. And we'll see y'all next week. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.